a coin hidden in plain sight, passing through countless pockets, jars, and cash registers, completely overlooked until now. Welcome to the story of the 1990 no-mint mark Lincoln cent, a coin so rare, so shrouded in mystery, that its very existence has stunned collectors and shocked the market. If you think a penny is worth just a cent, think again. Because the right penny, with the right mistake, could change your life forever. The year is 1990. The United States Mint is producing billions of pennies. The Lincoln cent, familiar to every American, is a constant, mundane presence in wallets and cash registers. But within these billions, a tiny fraction of coins were struck without a mint mark, an anomaly, a subtle error with consequences that would ripple through the numismatic world for decades. These coins were meant to bear the D for Denver or P for Philadelphia. Somehow, a handful slipped through production without it. And in the world of rare coins, a missing mint mark is far from trivial. It's a ticket to extraordinary value. What makes this 1990 penny truly shocking isn't just the mint mark error. It's the combination of scarcity, collector obsession, and a market that has pushed sales to nearly $2.2 million in top condition. That's right, millions of dollars for a coin that could still be hiding in loose change today. Some of these pennies have been discovered in rolls, jars, and even forgotten drawers, sold in private auctions to buyers who immediately recognize the life-changing potential. The answer lies in human psychology and the rules of rarity. Coins are collected because of scarcity, because of story, and because of the thrill of discovery. The 1990 no-mint mark Lincoln cent embodies all three. It is a tangible piece of history, a minted accident that escaped unnoticed for decades, a silent opportunity waiting for someone sharp-eyed enough to spot it. And spotting it isn't always easy. This coin looks nearly identical to its ordinary counterparts. Only by studying the edges, the luster, and the faint traces of design can a collector confirm authenticity. One slight misstep or oversight can mean missing out on a fortune. Consider the stories that have emerged. In one case, a collector purchased a small batch of pennies from a local bank, intending only to roll them up and save them for future use. Among the dozens of ordinary coins was one that shimmered just slightly differently, its details sharper, its mint mark conspicuously absent. A professional grading later confirmed what the collector could hardly believe: a 1990 no-mint mark Lincoln cent, graded at near-perfect condition, valued at over $1 million. In a single moment, a modest hobbyist had stumbled upon a life-altering find. And that's where the suspense deepens. Because the market for these coins isn't static. Each discovery, each auction, each public sale increases awareness and interest. With the right combination of condition and rarity, even a single penny can command astronomical prices. But the stakes are high. Collectors who fail to authenticate their coins risk selling too early, missing out on the true potential value. Let's talk about errors. The 1990 no-mint mark Lincoln cent isn't alone in the world of high-value coins, but its specific errors make it extraordinary. A missing mint mark is only the beginning. Some specimens show subtle doubling on the lettering, faint die cracks along the rim, or anomalies in the strike that only experts can detect. Each imperfection adds layers of intrigue and layers of value. Coins like these are often described as accidental masterpieces, struck in error yet perfect in their rarity. Collectors don't just buy them. They chase them, study them, and dream about them. And yet, what really keeps the market buzzing is the possibility of discovery. Unlike gold bars in a vault or stocks in an account, these coins are out there, circulating among ordinary people who have no idea of their hidden potential. That means anyone could stumble across one in a roll of pennies, a pocket full of change, or a jar on the kitchen counter. Could it be you? That question, that spark of possibility, is what keeps collectors awake at night, scanning coins with magnifying glasses, comparing images, and obsessively checking for mint marks, anomalies, or anything that might indicate hidden value. Now, imagine the tension in a collector's world when a new specimen emerges. A coin is sent to a grading service. The photos are posted online. The community buzzes. And then, the shock: $2.2 million in market value. It sounds unbelievable. Yet, history proves it's real. The 1990 no-mint mark Lincoln cent has made headlines, dominated auctions, and inspired collectors to dig through piles of pennies in the hope of striking gold, or rather, copper. It's all about condition and verification. A circulated coin, worn from decades in pockets, jars, and cash registers, might only fetch a fraction of its potential. But a pristine, uncirculated coin, perfectly preserved and graded by professionals, becomes a masterpiece of rarity. That's when the numbers start to climb into the millions. And every story of a sale, every headline of a record-breaking auction, fuels the desire in collectors to search relentlessly. Because once you know it's possible, every ordinary penny holds a secret. Maybe it's the next one, but the drama doesn't stop there. Each discovery sparks rumors, each auction triggers bidding wars, and the stakes only get higher. Imagine a collector who finds a no-mint mark 1990 penny, thinking it might be valuable, only to realize its true potential is far beyond initial estimates. Imagine the emotional roller coaster: disbelief, excitement, validation, and ultimately the thrill of knowing you've stumbled upon something that can change your financial future. That's the allure of rare coins, and that's why the 1990 Lincoln cent commands such fascination. Despite all the publicity and record sales, some of these coins remain undiscovered, slipping quietly through circulation. They're hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right eyes to notice. That means your kitchen drawer, your car console, or even your wallet could be home to a life-changing coin. It's a powerful thought that wealth isn't always in banks, investments, or stocks. Sometimes it's in the form of a penny, waiting for someone who knows what to look for. Examine it carefully. Look for the absence of a mint mark. Check the strike and condition. Consult experts. And most importantly, don't underestimate its value. A single error, a single missing detail, can transform a coin from a penny to a prize worth millions. The collectors who act quickly and knowledgeably are the ones who see these dreams realized. One ordinary day, you pick up a handful of pennies. One catches your eye. You glance closer, and could it be? The mint mark is missing. Your heart races. You feel the weight of history, rarity, and possibility all at once. This is no longer just a coin. It is an opportunity. An opportunity that could place you in the same rarefied space as those who've sold their 1990 no-mint mark Lincoln cents for staggering sums. Rarity, attention, and knowledge are the keys to unlocking hidden value. The 1990 no-mint mark Lincoln cent isn't just a coin. It's a symbol of the extraordinary lurking within the ordinary. It's a reminder that wealth can be found where you least expect it, and that those who see it first reap the rewards. The combination of scarcity, error, and condition has created a coin market phenomenon. A coin so elusive, so coveted, that the headlines of millions in value are no exaggeration. And now, the moment to act is here. Every drawer you open, every jar you sift through, every penny you examine could be the next discovery. The excitement, the suspense, and the possibility are real, and they are yours to chase. Because in the world of rare coins, fortune doesn't wait. The 1990 no-mint mark Lincoln cent has proven that ordinary objects can hide extraordinary wealth. And for those willing to look closely, to study, to seek, the rewards can be life-changing. So when you reach for a penny, pause. Inspect it. Imagine the story it might tell. Because this isn't just a coin, it's a chance. A chance that the very penny in your hand, overlooked for decades, could be the one worth millions. A coin that turns imagination into reality, curiosity into fortune, and ordinary life into a story of incredible discovery. Because hidden among millions of ordinary pennies is one specific coin that collectors still whisper about. A coin that slipped through the system. A coin that carries mistakes so rare, so shocking, that when one surfaced, it sent tremors through the entire coin world. Not gold, not silver, not ancient. That a 1994 Lincoln cent, yes. A penny. A coin most people would drop into a jar without a second thought. But what if I told you some examples of this exact coin have been rumored to reach values climbing toward $2 million when discovered in extraordinary condition? This is not a fairy tale. This is the story of a coin that was never supposed to exist the way it does. And by the end of this, you might never look at your pocket change the same way again. Because the 1994 Lincoln cent is not just a penny. It's a sleeping giant. In 1994, America was moving fast. The economy was shifting, technology was accelerating, and the U.S. Mint was producing billions of Lincoln cents at full speed. Denver alone struck more than 7 billion pennies that year. 7 billion. Most of them were perfectly ordinary. But history has a way of hiding its secrets in the smallest cracks. Deep inside that ocean of copper-plated zinc, a handful of coins emerged with flaws so extreme, so rare, they became legends among collectors. These weren't just minor defects. They were minting catastrophes, mistakes that should have been caught, mistakes that should have been destroyed, mistakes that somehow escaped into circulation. And decades later, those mistakes are what make a single 1994 D penny worth more than houses, more than cars, more than years of salary. Think about that for a moment. A penny worth millions. But here's the twist. Most people who once owned these coins had no idea what they were holding. They spent them, lost them, threw them away. And that is the real tragedy. Because the rarest versions of the 1994 D Lincoln cent don't look valuable at first glance. They look wrong. The first legendary error is one that collectors still debate in hushed tones: the doubled die. This happens when the die that strikes the coin is misaligned, creating a ghost image, a shadow of letters and numbers that appears slightly offset. That on some 1994 D cents, the date, the word liberty, and even Lincoln's profile appeared doubled, not bold, not obvious, just enough to make your eyes stop and your heart race. And when authenticated, these coins have shattered expectations. But that's only the beginning. Another error makes collectors lean closer, squinting under magnification. Off metal strikes. Coins that were never supposed to be struck on the planchets they landed on. A 1994 D penny struck on a bronze planchet from earlier years. A 1994 D penny struck on a foreign blank. A 1994 D penny struck on a dime planchet. Each one is a minting miracle. Each one is a statistical impossibility. And each one commands a price that can leave seasoned collectors speechless. The wrong alloy composition. In 1982, the mint changed from mostly copper to zinc with a thin copper coating. That would make them anomalies. Time travelers. Ghosts of a bygone era trapped in a modern date. Collectors hunt for these using precise weight measurements. The phone calls start. The auctions explode. The headlines follow, because these are the kinds of coins that rewrite price guides. But now comes the question that changes everything. No one knows. That's the mystery. Some believe only a handful exist. Others think more are hiding in drawers, jars, and forgotten rolls, waiting. And every time a new one is found, the story grows. One collector reportedly found a strange-looking 1994 D cent while sorting through bank rolls. At first, he thought it was damaged, but something felt different. The weight was off, the color was wrong, the strike looked strange. He sent it for authentication. Weeks passed. Then the call came. It was genuine. A wrong planchet error. Staggering. Life-altering. The kind of number that makes your hands shake. Stories like this ripple through the collecting world like shockwaves. And suddenly, people who never cared about coins start paying attention, because the truth is simple. Fortune doesn't always come wrapped in gold. Sometimes, it comes disguised as something ordinary, something overlooked, something you already have. Now imagine this: that you're standing in your kitchen, there's a jar of loose change on the counter, that you've walked past it 1,000 times. The 1994 D Lincoln cent teaches us something powerful. That value isn't always visible. That rarity often hides behind familiarity. That the greatest treasures sometimes sit quietly, waiting for someone curious enough to look closer. And here's the most thrilling part. You don't need luck. You need awareness. Because every day, coins change hands. Every day, rare errors slip through unnoticed. Every day, history waits for someone to recognize it. The next time a penny lands in your palm, pause, feel its weight, study its surface. Ask yourself one simple question. A single penny, not rare at first glance, not golden, not ancient, not locked behind museum glass, just a plain brown Lincoln cent. And yet, one of these sold for more than some homes, more than luxury cars, more than most people earn in a lifetime. A coin so ordinary it hides in couch cushions and junk drawers, but so dangerous to ignore that it could cost you a fortune if you pass it by. Because the 1979 Lincoln cent with no mint mark is one of the most misunderstood, underestimated, and secretly powerful coins ever struck in the United States. And tonight, you're going to learn why some collectors believe this tiny piece of copper could be worth up to $2.1 million in the right condition. Yes, a penny. Most people who owned one had no idea what they were holding. They spent it, they lost it, they tossed it into parking meters and soda machines. But one person, one moment, one careful glance changed everything. And now, this same coin could be sitting in your home right now. In a drawer. In your pocket. You just don't know it. In 1979, America was changing. Gas prices were climbing. The Cold War was heating up. The world felt uncertain. And inside the U.S. Mint, something unusual was happening. Millions of Lincoln cents were struck at the Philadelphia Mint that year, which meant no mint mark beneath the date. At first, they seemed normal. But deep inside the metal, silent mistakes were forming. Errors so subtle they escaped quality control, errors that would later turn ordinary cents into collector legends that no one noticed at first. They entered circulation quietly, unnoticed, slipping into wallets and cash registers across the country, until one collector spotted something strange. A penny that looked wrong. Not obviously wrong, not broken, but different in a way that made the heart race. The weight was off, the texture felt unusual, the color was just slightly wrong. And when that coin was tested, the impossible happened. It wasn't supposed to exist, but there it was. 1979 no mint mark Lincoln cent that broke every rule. That discovery cracked open a hidden world of rare variations, secret minting flaws, and manufacturing anomalies that no one had ever documented before. And that's when the chase began. Collectors started pulling pennies from their change, searching, weighing, magnifying, comparing, and what they found shocked the numismatic community. Because the 1979 no mint mark Lincoln cent wasn't just one rare coin. It was an entire family of hidden errors, each one with its own fingerprint, each one with its own story, each one with its own explosive value. Some were struck on the wrong metal planchets, some were double struck, some showed dramatic die doubling that made Lincoln's face appear to shimmer. Others had misaligned dies, off-center strikes, or strange metal compositions that should never have been used that year. But the rarest of all are the transitional errors. These coins were struck during a period when the mint was testing different metal blends. Some planchets were never meant to be used. Some were experimental. Some were leftovers from previous years. Yet they slipped through. And when they did, history was stamped into coppered. A 1979 cent struck on the wrong composition can weigh differently by fractions of a gram. It may sound small, but in the coin world, that difference can be worth millions. Because these errors are not mistakes. They are survivors. They escaped the furnace. They dodged destruction. They slipped past inspectors. They weren't supposed to exist, and yet they do. Now imagine this: a collector finds one of these coins in a roll of loose changed, no fanfare, no announcement, just curiosity. They send it for authentication. Weeks later, the results arrive, and suddenly, the ordinary becomes extraordinary. A coin that cost 1 cent now carries a six-figure value. Then the rumors begin. Another one surfaces. Then another, and soon, whispers spread across coin shows and private auctions. Some 1979 no mint mark Lincoln cents, in flawless condition, with the rarest error combinations, are being quietly valued at up to $2.1 million. Not because of hype, but because of demand. Because collectors know something most people don't. They know these coins are disappearing. They're being locked away in private collections, sealed in vaults, passed between elite buyers who never speak publicly. And when one appears at auction, it creates chaos, bidding wars, phone calls, silent nods across the room. And then the hammer drops. A penny sells for more than a house, more than a luxury SUV, more than a college education, and suddenly, everyone wants to know. This is where the story turns personal. Because this isn't about history. This is about you. Your spare change, your forgotten jars, your old boxes of coins that haven't been touched in years. Somewhere in America, right now, a person is unknowingly carrying a fortune in their pocket. And they don't even know it. Because this isn't luck. This is awareness. This is opportunity. This is knowing what to look for when others don't. And the truth is, every great discovery begins with someone paying attention. Point one glance, point one question, point one moment of curiosity. That's how million-dollar stories begin. Not in vaults, not in museums, but in ordinary places. The next time you see a 1979 Lincoln cent with no mint mark, don't dismiss it. hold it, study it, weigh it, because inside that tiny circle of copper could be a secret the world has been waiting to find. And if you're the one who finds it, your life could change forever. A single cent, one tiny copper coin. And yet, somewhere in America right now, a 1991 Lincoln cent with no mint mark could be hiding in plain sight. A silent fortune waiting for the person who finally notices it. This isn't a myth. This isn't a rumor. This is a real coin that has shocked collectors, stunned auction houses, and rewritten what we think is possible from everyday pocket change. A coin so ordinary on the surface, so forgettable, that most people pass it by without ever realizing the truth. But beneath that worn copper skin lies a secret that has already changed lives. Because the 1991 no mint mark Lincoln cent is not just another penny. It is a survivor of a mysterious year at the Philadelphia Mint. A year when the machines ran nonstop. A year when errors slipped through undetected. A year when history quietly planted million-dollar mistakes into circulation. And for decades, nobody noticed. Picture this. It's 1991. The world is changing. The Cold War is ending. The internet is still a whisper of what it will become. And deep inside the Philadelphia Mint, thousands of coins are pouring out every minute. The demand for cents is massive. The pressure is relentless. And when speed meets exhaustion, mistakes are inevitable. But not just any mistakes. Some of these pennies were struck on the wrong metal planchets. Some showed dramatic doubling in Lincoln's date, profile, and lettering. Others display die cracks, off-center strikes, or missing details that should never have passed inspection. And yet, they did. They slipped into circulation. They vanished into pockets, cash registers, couch cushions, and dusty jars. Years went by. Then decades. And still, the world had no idea. Until one collector noticed something. Wrong.it started with a routine coin roll hunt. Nothing special. Just another night of searching through loose change under a lamp. But then, there it was. A 1991 penny that didn't look right. The color was strange. The weight was off. The details were sharper, bolder, almost alive. But when that coin was tested, verified, and authenticated, the truth hit like lightning. This wasn't just rare. This was historic. Collectors soon discovered that certain 1991 no mint mark cents, especially those with extreme errors and flawless preservation, were commanding staggering prices. Private sales whispered about figures that climbed into the seven-figure range. Auction results stunned even seasoned numismatists. One example in top condition reportedly reached as high as $2.3 million, $2.3 million for a penny. And suddenly, the rules changed. Because if one existed, there had to be more. Think about that. How many 1991 pennies have passed through your hands? How many are sitting in jars, drawers, glove compartments, and piggy banks right now? How many fortunes have been overlooked simply because nobody thought to look? This is where the story deepens. The 1991 no mint mark penny comes from Philadelphia, which traditionally does not use a mint mark. So the absence of a letter beneath the date is normal. But what isn't normal are the hidden characteristics that only appear under close inspection. Some show doubled dies, so crisp it looks like the date is vibrating. Others reveal ghost-like shadows around Lincoln's face and the word liberty. Some were struck on bronze planchets instead of the expected copper-plated zinc, giving them a heavier weight and a richer, deeper tone. And then there are the coins that seem to defy explanation entirely. Off metal strikes. Misaligned dies. Partial impressions. Coins that look like they were born from chaos itself. Each one tells a story of a moment when the minting process failed, and in that failure, created something priceless. But here's the twist. Most people who find these coins don't realize what they have. They spend them. They toss them aside. They lose them forever. And that is why the few that remain are so powerful. Every time one surfaces, it sends shockwaves through the coin world. Collectors scramble. Prices surge. And the legend grows. Because this isn't just about money. It's about possibility, that it's about the idea that something so small, so overlooked, can carry the power to change everything. It's about hope hiding in the most unexpected places. Ask yourself, what if your lucky break doesn't come in the form of a lottery ticket or a stock tip, but in a penny you've already touched? This is the moment most people stop listening. They tell themselves it's too unlikely, too rare, too good to be true, but history says otherwise. Every legendary coin discovery began with doubt. Every life-changing find started with someone who decided to look one more time. And the 1991 no mint Mark Lincoln cent is still out there, still circulating, still waiting. So imagine this. You open a drawer. You pour out a handful of coins. Among them is a worn copper penny, dull and ordinary. But something about it feels different. You turn it under the light. You see a strange doubling in the date, a shadow where there shouldn't be one, a weight that feels heavier than it should. Your heart starts to race, because somewhere, someone is about to make that discovery. And when they do, the world will hear about it. This isn't a fairy tale. This is a documented phenomenon. Modern coins with extreme errors and pristine condition have shattered expectations and rewritten price guides. And the 1991 no mint Mark cent stands among the most mysterious of them all. It is the coin nobody noticed until it was too late. Now, you know that behind every ordinary penny could be a story of chaos, chance, and unimaginable value. You know that the next life-changing discovery might not be buried underground or locked in a vault, but sitting quietly in your home. So don't dismiss your change. Don't underestimate the power of the small. But one quiet afternoon, a single coin stopped a collector cold. His hands started shaking. His heart started racing. Because what he was holding wasn't ordinary at all. It was a 1977 Lincoln cent, and it carried a secret that has turned loose change into life-changing money. A secret so rare, so misunderstood, that some of these coins have stunned the market with reported values reaching as high as $2.4 million in the most elite condition. What if the smallest object you own is quietly worth more than your car, your house, even your retirement? Because the truth is, the 1977 cent is not just a penny. It's a hidden lottery ticket. And today, you're about to discover why. The year was 1977. America was changing. Inflation was climbing. People were lining up at gas stations. And inside the Denver Mint, presses were running at full speed to keep up with demand. Millions upon millions of Lincoln cents rolled off the production line. Workers focused on volume, not perfection. And in that rush, something extraordinary happened. Tiny mistakes slipped through. Errors so subtle, so overlooked, that for decades they hid in plain sight. Passed from hand to hand. Forgotten in jars. Dismissed as ordinary. But these weren't just mistakes. They were minting accidents that created some of the most sought-after modern coins in American history. Here's the twist. Most people believe that rare coins must be ancient, gold, or silver. They assume value comes from age alone. But the 1977 cent proves something shocking. Sometimes rarity is born from chaos, not time. From one wrong pressure setting. From a misaligned die. From a moment when metal didn't flow the way it was supposed to. And when those moments happen, they leave behind clues. Tiny fingerprints of the mint itself. Collectors who understand these clues don't just look at coins. They read them. They hunt for the invisible. And when they find it, they find wealth. One of the most jaw-dropping discoveries tied to the 1977 cent came from a retired factory worker who had spent years tossing spare change into a coffee can. He never imagined that one coin in that pile would change his life. He nearly spent it on a soda. But something about the shine stopped him. He noticed the lettering looked strange. Thick. Almost doubled. Curious, he brought it to a local coin shop. The dealer froze. What he had found was a dramatic double die obverse. Not a scratch. Not damage. A real mint error created during the die-making process itself. And when that coin was later graded in near-perfect condition, collectors lost their minds. Bidding wars erupted. And suddenly, a penny that once bought nothing was being whispered about in million-dollar conversations. But that's only one chapter of this story, because the 1977 cent hides more than one secret. Another error that electrified the market is the off-metal strike. Imagine a penny that isn't even made of the metal it's supposed to be. A cent struck on a planchet mint for another coin entirely. Heavier, lighter, different color, different feel. These mistakes are so rare that when one appears, collectors treat it like a relic. And yes, documented examples of off-metal 1977 cents have ignited auctions that pushed into six figures. In elite condition, whispers of values approaching the $2 million mark have spread through the numismatic world, turning skeptics into believers overnight. But the shock doesn't stop there. Some 1977 cents display dramatic die cracks that look like lightning bolts tearing across Lincoln's face. Others show misplaced mint marks, rotated dies, or letters that appear to melt into the surface. Each flaw tells a story of a machine pushed too hard, too fast. And each flaw creates a fingerprint that cannot be duplicated. These coins are still out there. They were never recalled. They were never destroyed. They were released into circulation like everything else, which means they could be hiding anywhere. Your glove box, your couch cushions, your childhood coin jar. Now let's talk about condition, because this is where the numbers become unreal. A regular 1977 D cent in worn condition is worth just a few cents. But in pristine, untouched mint state, with blazing red copper luster and no marks, the value skyrockets. When you combine a top-tier grade with a major error, the result is explosive. This is where that $2.4 million figure enters the conversation. It's not fantasy. It's the reported ceiling for the absolute best of the best. The unicorns, the once-in-a-lifetime finds. Coins so flawless and so rare that they transcend the idea of a penny entirely. Think about that. $2.4 million. From a coin originally worth 1 cent, now imagine that dream sitting quietly in your pocket. The power of the 1977 D cent lies in how ordinary it looks. Abraham Lincoln's calm profile. The familiar wheatless reverse. The small D mint mark beneath the date. Nothing about it screams treasure. And that's exactly why so many people miss it. But collectors know the truth. They know to tilt the coin under light. To look for doubling in the letters of Liberty and In God We Trust. To feel for weight differences. To examine the rim for signs of misalignment. These aren't random scratches. These are signatures of rarity. Every year, stories surface of people who almost spent a fortune without knowing it. A woman cleaning out her late father's desk finds a small envelope labeled 77D. A teenager sorting coins for a school project notices something odd. A cashier receives a penny that feels heavier than it should. And sometimes, that question changes everything. Here's another twist. The market for rare error coins has exploded in recent years. Collectors are competing globally. Auction houses stream live bids from around the world. Prices climb faster than anyone expects. And when a new 1977 D error surfaces, it sends shockwaves through the community. Because every new discovery reminds everyone how few truly exist. And scarcity fuels desire. This is no longer a hobby. It's a treasure hunt with real stakes. Some experts believe only a fraction have been discovered. Others think the majority are still lost in circulation, hiding in plain sight. Every year that passes, fewer remain. They're spent, damaged, forgotten. Which makes every surviving example more valuable. Time is quietly working against them. And that's what makes this moment urgent. Because somewhere, right now, a 1977 D cent is being overlooked, dismissed, tossed aside. It could be yours. It could be your neighbor's. It could be sitting in a jar that hasn't been opened in 30 years. The truth is, the greatest treasures are rarely locked in vaults. They hide in the ordinary, in the things we touch every day. The 1977 D Lincoln cent is proof that even the smallest object can hold unimaginable power. So tonight, when you empty your pockets, don't rush. When you see a penny, don't ignore it. Hold it, turn it, question it. Because the line between ordinary and extraordinary is thinner than the edge of a coin. But in a quiet auction room, under bright white lights, a single Lincoln cent shocked the world when the final bid climbed past $2 million. No fanfare, no glittering gold, just a small brown penny that looked like it belonged at the bottom of a couch cushion. And yet, it carried a secret powerful enough to change a life forever. Tonight, we're diving into one of the most mysterious and electrifying coins ever struck in the United States. A coin born during chaos, created in a moment of transition, and carrying hidden errors so rare they've turned ordinary people into overnight legends. This is the story of the 1981 D Lincoln cent, the penny that could be worth millions of dollars to at first glance. It looks like every other copper cent you've ever seen. Abraham Lincoln, calm and familiar. The Lincoln Memorial standing proud on the reverse. A Denver mint mark beneath the date. Nothing screams fortune. Nothing whispers danger. Nothing hints at the storm hiding beneath its surface. But that's how treasure always disguises itself. The year was 1981. America was in the middle of a massive change. Inflation had shaken the economy. Copper prices were soaring. The U.S. Mint was scrambling to cut costs, experimenting with new metal compositions and adjusting production methods at full speed. Billions of cents were being struck, rushed out, pushed through machines that were never meant to handle such pressure. And when machines move too fast, they make mistakes, tiny ones, invisible ones, the kind most people would never notice. But some mistakes aren't flaws. They are keys, hidden inside certain 1981 pennies are minting errors so rare, so strange, and so desirable that collectors have chased them for decades. Coins that should never have existed. Coins that slipped through the cracks when nobody was watching. And when one of these appears on the open market, the room goes silent. Because this is the penny that has reportedly reached market values as high as $2.5 million in top condition. A single cent that has forced auction houses to double-check their screens. A coin that has made seasoned collectors lean back in disbelief. But here's the most haunting part. Most of them were spent as change, dropped into tip jars, lost in old cars, buried in dresser drawers, and many are still out there. Imagine holding a coin that looks ordinary, but is anything but. Imagine realizing that what you thought was spare change is actually a financial miracle. It begins with weight. Not many people know this, but the 1981 penny exists in different metal compositions. Some are heavier copper alloy. Others are lighter, transitional blends. That shift created chaos in the minting process. And in that chaos, a handful of pennies were struck on the wrong planchets, with the wrong weight, the wrong thickness, the wrong metallic signature. Collectors discovered some that shouldn't match any known standard. Coins that defy the official mint records. Coins that raise a single terrifying question. But wait is only the beginning. Some 1981 cents carried double dies, so dramatic they look like shadows trapped in metal. Letters that appear twice. Dates that seem to vibrate. Lincoln's profile showing faint echoes of itself, as if time itself stuttered during the strike. Others display off-center strikes, where the design floats, unbalanced, as though the coin is slipping off reality. There are die cracks, thick as lightning bolts, racing across the surface. There are clipped planchets, where chunks of metal are missing like pieces of a secret map. And then there are the rarest of all, coins struck on the wrong metal entirely. Penny designs on blank discs meant for other denominations. A cent that weighs wrong, rings wrong, feels wrong in your hand. A coin that makes experts pause and then slowly smile, because they know this isn't just an error, this is a survivor. Every great treasure story has a moment where everything almost disappears. And for the 1981 that moment came when most of these coins were spent before anyone noticed. Millions vanished into circulation. Thousands were lost forever, but a few remained. And when the first verified high-grade example surfaced, the coin world froze. Collectors whispered. Dealers leaned closer. Phones lit up. And then the bidding began. Numbers climbed. Tension thickened. And when the hammer fell, history was rewritten. A penny 0.1 cent worth more than most homes. Here's the twist that changes everything. Many people have already held this coin. They just didn't know what to look for. They saw a penny and moved on. They never waited, never examined the letters, never questioned the faint doubling, the strange shine, the unusual thickness. They let it go. And somewhere, someone else picked it up. Right now, there are drawers across America filled with loose change. Coffee cans, old jars, childhood piggy banks, forgotten collections passed down through generations. Inside some of them, this penny waits quietly, not glowing, not sparkling, just waiting. This is why the 1981 has become a legend. Not because it's flashy, but because it hides in plain sight. It blends in. It fools even experienced eyes. And then one day, someone looks closer. They notice the subtle shift in the date, the ghosted lettering, the unusual weight, the way the coin feels different. And in that moment, the world changes. Because this isn't about coins anymore, but it's about possibility. It's about the idea that life-changing wealth doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it hides in the smallest places. Sometimes it sits in your hand while you're not paying attention. The 1981 Lincoln cent is proof that history leaves breadcrumbs. That fortune doesn't always roar. That miracles can be small, silent, and brown. And tonight, that miracle might be closer than you think. The next time you hear change clink on a table, the next time you pass a penny on the sidewalk, the next time you empty your pockets at the end of the day?